Well, we are getting ready to make another float for our Disney Paper Park Parade. This float is from a classic movie, The Sword in the Stone. So you've got Merlin there, and kind of in the background you've got Arthur, or as he's known as Wart, pulling the sword out of the stone. Archimedes the owl is there, and the little squirrel. So we are going to be adding this one to our Disney Park Parade. And that puts us up to 1, 2, oh my goodness, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our floats. We are going to kind of include a little video with our idea on our other set, because we have 2 sets that we're making that has the string, so you can kind of see how they're all strung together to make that park parade. But we are going to start today with Merlin and young Arthur in the Sword in the Stone float. Things that you are going to need to get started. The instructions. Pick them up at the library. It's got the things to cut out, either regular glue or stick glue. We've been coloring ours with pencils, otherwise you can use crayons. I usually don't suggest using marker just because it tends to bleed through. So I would go with crayons or colored pencils. Tape, a lot of times I forget to tell you about the tape. Scissors. Now we are going to be cutting a couple of toothpicks, and if you made the other ones with us, you know that. And I do suggest it's easier to cut the toothpicks if you have a pair of wire cutters. Grown-ups, please, for those. If not, you can always use your scissors. And then the other one that I really do suggest for poking out the holes in the wheels to put the toothpicks in, makes life a little easier, is a push pin. And one thing that I have not mentioned before, but poking those wheels is actually easier if you have a tiny little piece of cardboard. So if you've got any kind of anything in a box, cardboard will be your friend. So I'm going to clear off my area here. You go get whatever supplies that you need to get, and we'll be right back to make our Sword in the Stone. So if you picked up your page from the library, the first thing that you've got is all of the pieces ready to color. I always suggest color them before you cut them out, just in case you make a mistake, you don't get any marks on your tables at home. And then you are going to make sure that you cut out on the solid lines, and the dotted lines are going to be for our folding. We've always been starting in the same way, where we are going to start with the base. So let me get my Merlin here front and center for you to see. So first we're going to start with the little cart that he's rolling on. That'll give that a chance to dry while we're building the rest of him. So we've got our base here, and you can see we've got all those dotted lines, so we're going to go around all the sides, and I like to do all my folding first. So I'm going to fold side 1, including those teeny tiny little flaps. Sometimes those are the hardest, is the tiny flaps. Side 2, side 3, some more little tiny flaps. And then we've got one more side here, side 4. Now, I have said this before, it's up to you what kind of glue you choose. If you choose stick glue, it does stick faster, but it's not as strong of a hold. Or you can use kind of the wet white glue. You're gonna have to hold it for a couple of seconds to just let it set, but you will end up with a much stronger bond in the end. So we have been going with the white glue for this, the school glue. It's up to you which one. I've been putting the glue on the teeny tiny little flaps. So there's 2 flaps on those 2 ends. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put my little dot of glue on a flap, little dot of glue on a flap. And I'm going to take and fold that side in there. And I'm going to take and fold this side in here. I'm just going to hold it for a second, and then I'm going to do the other side. While I'm doing this, don't forget that we still have our science by Tailwise that you can watch on our Facebook page or our library page. See, it's already set. It only takes a couple of seconds. And then a little dot of glue on this side, and a little dot of glue on that side. And then, oops, I just got it all over my fingers instead of where it's supposed to go. That happens. That's the nice thing, that glue dries clear and is all nice and washable. And get that other side there. So I'm going to hold all four sides for a couple of seconds. So we have that, and we're now in, oh my goodness, it's already April. In May, we're going to have all the information up on our website and on our Facebook page for our summer reading program. We've got all kinds of fun stuff planned. We're going to have music, we're going to have story times, we're going to have crafts that are ready to take home, we're going to have advanced crafts, we're going to have our science, we're going to have special guests. The only real difference is we are going to be doing our programming outside. You are still going to be able to read and get prizes this summer. We're just going to take the prizes along with us. And the big change this year for our summer, we did do it outside last year, but this year we are taking our summer program on the road. We are going to have programs here at the library, but we're also going to be one day a week out at Hillcrest Park, and we're going to be one day a week out at Moriarty Park. So whatever neighborhood you're closest to, or our big programs like, my favorite, the Zoo Man, is going to be in Pioneer Park in the band shell. So this year we are just going to enjoy fun in the sun and be on the road all around Brookings having a great time. So that was plenty of time for this base to sit. And you saw me get glue on my fingers, so now I have to unglue it from me. And we're going to put those wheels together. So like I said, one thing I had not done before, it actually makes it even easier. We have, these are the circles for our wheels, and we are going to put a hole in them and then put the toothpick through. So see, if you actually have the cardboard down, it actually is even faster to just use that push pin to pre-poke your holes. I'm going to do one axle real quick, and then I'll get the other one done. So all I am doing is I pre-poked that. I can get a hold of the toothpick. I pre-poked that hole. I am just going to gently get the wheel on there, and hopefully it's not going to stick to my gluey finger too much. But there, I've got the one side on the wheel. I'm going to put it right through the straw for our axle, and then I am gently going to put the other side on. You want to do this as gentle as possible, because the less wrinkles in your wheels, the straighter your wheels are, the better it's going to roll. So I got those on there. I am going to, again, if you've got the wire clippers, let a grown-up do that. Otherwise, you can also do it with your scissors. I do still suggest letting the grown-up snip those ends off. But that way we don't have pointy ends of the toothpicks. So I'm going to do the other side. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I am going to put a drop of glue here and a drop of glue there, and that will just keep the wheels from coming off, because you don't want to be in the middle of a parade and have your wheels come off. So I'm going to get the other axle ready, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've made both of my axles, and the base to my float, so ready to assemble the rolling part of your parade float. This is the part that you need the tape for. I was just thinking that on some of these floats that have these itty bitty bases, they seem to have two different sizes. This part I think is the trickiest. So what I've been doing is putting a little bit of tape on the axle to help hold it when I'm putting it in there. And I'm kind of happy I have a little bit of fingernails because I've been gently placing our straw in one of those wheel wells there. And then it is kind of a gentle pat, pat, pat to get one side down. And then, ooh, you know what, I'm gonna actually use my scissors. Maybe you could use your colored pencils or whatever, but my fingers are just not gonna fit in there. And very gently push that tape down in there so that your axle is taped in nice and tight. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. It's just really teeny tiny in there. Everything is a lot easier to do. The ones where the axle, the little base is a little bigger, I find a little easier, but we can do it. We can get over those challenges. So I'm going to get that tape down in there very gently. Tap, tap, tap. I know the people that are watching the video are going, this can't be that hard. Watching her fingers go all over the place there. And then get that tape down and the base there. Again, a little tap, tap, tap. And we're all taped in and ready to go. I'm just gonna leave it upside down because the glue is still drying on those wheels and the base is still drying just that little bit, and put it off to the side. And now we are gonna start making the tower part. The base to this is going to be this one, which we'll put on last when we're actually putting all of our pieces together. What is going to go on top of that is our pedestal. So this one is our pedestal. And this again is one of those ones where you're going to cut out on the solid lines, and we've got a whole bunch of dotted lines. So I'm going to get these dotted lines folded, all these little tabs. This is going to be for rolling it up. There's a tabs, some dotted lines over here. And it's a little bit of a solid line, but you're going to want to fold on those ones too. That way we're going to be able to roll this up nice and easy, easy, easy. Now you can see it says glue Merlin here. And where's our Merlin? Right there. So we are going to glue him, that he's going to be right in the middle. And it's a little easier to glue him on first, and then we're going to roll this all up. So I just wanted to point out that we are going to glue Merlin there. So let's get Merlin. And it's just a little easier to do it before you roll it up, just so you can line it up and you can see how his picture of the base of his lines up and makes your picture all nice and complete. And then we are going to put little drops of glue on these little flaps. A little dot, 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 dot. And we are going to fold this one down here. We're going to roll this up. I'm going to put a little dot here too. That way I can roll. I just find it's easier to put the little dots on first. Roll him up. Hold that one for just a second while it's rolling up. And you can see I'm kind of making a circle. I'm going to fold this one down and just very gently kind of hold it all together. Give a couple of seconds for that glue to start setting. It's going to hold down to those flaps. It's going to hold onto the back. And so we're gonna take a quick break because you don't want to watch like 10-15 seconds of me just waiting for glue to dry. Okay, my glue's all nice and set, so Merlin is ready to go. Next, we're gonna keep building up, and we're gonna start with the floor right here in the tower. Now this one, we've got kind of the look that we're making a step. So we've got 2 of our folds, so we're gonna fold down, and then we're going to fold back up again. So it kind of looks like you were walking up a step to get up there. See how that kind of looks like a step? And we are going to be gluing that. We're going to fit that right around Merlin like that, like he was on that, walked up that step. And we're going to glue that down. So there we go. We're going to glue that one right in there. I'm going to work right around Merlin. Now I did notice an easy way to kind of hold this. I'm kind of turning it upside down on the edge of my table just so I can press down good. And hopefully you're working at a table and not just getting the gluey mess everywhere. So that's kind of an easy way to be able to press down a little bit, because otherwise it's kind of hard to press in the air. So there, he's got his stairs that he's walking up. Next, we have this background that wraps around behind. You can see it right there. Now on the first one that we did, you can see we think young King Arthur is a little hidden. So rather than doing it kind of perfectly, well, you guys know I'm not doing it perfectly, but rather than doing it perfectly lined up like that, which kind of puts Merlin front and center, but also will hide Arthur, I'm going to actually glue mine just a smush off to the side, kind of. I'm going to start right next to that step and come around. And that's going to leave me a spot that I'm going to be able to see Arthur just a little better. So you'll get a little of the coloring there that gets covered, but I think you'll probably like it better in the end. Remember, artwork's always yours, so if you want to change it, you change it. It's your paper parade, so make it your own. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna kind of go around my circle. And this is another one where we're gonna let the glue dry for just a minute. So we will be right back because nobody wants to watch that. So I have the background there. It was pulling away a little bit on the side, so I did add one little piece of tape on each side just to make sure that isn't gonna slowly rip over time. You can do whatever you want. The last one that we're gonna add to the top here is young Arthur pulling the sword from the stone. So we've got that dotted line there. So we're going to fold right on the dotted line. So like I said, you could put him right there in the middle, and I think he's a little hard to see. I'm going to actually angle mine just a little bit so that we've got some action going right on in the side that you can peek in. Completely up to you where you want to put him. So I'm going to take my young Arthur and I'm going to try to get him. I'm putting him, I hope that we're going to be able to see him nicely. And it's just going to take, again, a couple of seconds. Let that glue dry. Kind of pushing him against the background. But this way, from the front, he's a little hidden, but on the side you can definitely see him there, pulling the sword out from the stone. This side you can kind of see him. It's up to you whether or not you want to try to put him in the middle or not. I'm gonna use my fingers are not that long. I'm a short person all around. Just let that glue dry right in there. You decide where Arthur wants to go. And our last step is actually going to be now assembling. We've got a top of our float. This is the base that this is going to set on. And then we have the wheeled part that's going to set on. So we're going to be ready to start assembling that. I'm going to put my base down first. I'm going to put some blue. Hold that. We're going to very gently. Remember, I keep saying gently, but everything's just made out of paper, so if you start pushing too hard, it's going to just fall apart. But we're just going to gently glue down. There's our base for our float. And then we had those couple of tabs that we did at the bottom here that we folded under. So we are going to put our glue on those. And we'll see there's my front of my float. And I'm going to put those down. And last thing to do is just have a little patience and let this glue set up. Now, once it's glued enough that it is staying, I would just let it set and let it dry. And then you will be ready to add your Sword in the Stone Merlin float to your Disney Park Parade. Now, I have suggested, and we have a little video clip of the one that we did add strings to, but at the front you can put a little string on this and you can string all of your floats together. That way you just pull at the front and you have a whole parade that's going to roll on down the line. So I hope you've been enjoying that. We've got a few more floats to make, and then our Disney paper parade is going to be done. So have a good day. Hope you enjoy. Bye.